Hey guys, welcome back to RIPP Superchargers, and today we have a 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee powered by a 3.6 liter Pentastar on the dyno. Naturally, this one is RIPP Supercharged because that's what we do here. So the supercharger installed on this is basically the same system as we do on our Wrangler, and we've got thousands of those out there. The 3.6 liter Pentastar has proven to be one of the best engines that Mopar has put out there. Now that they offer it in the 2011 through 2017 Mopar cars, the Charger, Challenger, and 300C, which we're very much looking to launch this year, and we're in the middle of it, sort of. The 3.6 is powered by that, and so is the Durango, and now there's a Ram kit that we're working on as well. But by far, there's thousands and thousands, and I mean multiple thousand kits out there for the 3.6 liter Wrangler. Now those have been punished, proving that the engine is very, very strong. Here at RIPP Superchargers, we like pushing the limits, but we like keeping things within a very reasonable range, and that's where we pretty much put all our kits so that you can drive them reliably and have a lot of fun with them. You know, naturally, you get some better gas mileage as well, so all those things sort of come encompassed with a RIPP Supercharger system. The installation of a RIPP Supercharger system is very simple. It comes out of the box with everything you need. There are no real options or things that you have to go sourcing out, which is very important to either a backyard guy or a shop who's going to install one of these. So in this particular case, I can go through some of this. The supercharger system comes with all the hardware that you would need to install the supercharger onto the engine. You don't have to go drilling or cutting into holes or really coming up with any sort of quantum physics to get the thing hung on there. We do all that for you. We provide you with the belts, the injectors, the proprietary map sensor, the front mount intercooler, which makes a pretty big statement when it's coming at you down the road. All the piping is pre-bent and pre-cut and pre-lipped, and all the couplers that go with that as well. The instructions are multiple pages in color, and they have notes and technical aspects of it just in case you have to make an adjustment anywhere or find something that doesn't fit right. And naturally, the staff is here to help you, when you need some help. So you can always hit us up at any one of the tech emails or give us a call. We're happy to help. Now, in this particular case, when you test a all-wheel drive 3.6 liter Pentastar powered Jeep Grand Cherokee, they generally make about 200 horsepower. 220 is the most you get out of them. About 198 to 200 is what they put down on the floor. Now remember, when we're measuring horsepower on our dyno, we're measuring it at the actual wheel. I don't want you to mix it up with what the manufacturer advertises, which is a much larger number, and that's the horsepower at the crank. The crank means the horsepower at the engine when the engine is all by itself on an engine dyno, and that's what it produces on its own, and that's the misconception. When we demonstrate 300 plus horsepower at the wheels on these vehicles, we're actually showing you horsepower through the transmission, through the axles, through the differentials, and naturally at the wheels themselves. Okay, so that's much larger. You have to add a percentage to that and say, well, this is what I have at actual crank. So that being said, we do have this strapped down, and we do like making some noise. I'm going to turn on some fans, we'll make a pass, and we'll talk about the power. Okay, that seems right where we want to be. Shut some of this noise off. Okay, let's see some peak power, went right off the scale there. Well, there you go. So 365 horsepower at the wheels and a solid 310 pounds of torque straight through the RPM. So essentially you're just seeing it going off here, but it's at the end at the rev limiter. So what you're seeing is a very, very big gain. Typically, like I said, these vehicles come in at about 200 horsepower. 220 is the most you'll see. So at 365, you've got a sizable gain here, 140 horsepower gain, and let alone the torque, because the torque is usually about the same to about 200. This is actually very similar to 392 power. When you dyno test a stock SRT, for example, or 5.7 is also comparable. But an actual SRT, a 392 powered SRT Grand Cherokee, they make about 380 horsepower and about 410, 420 pounds of torque. So they're sizable more torque naturally because they're much larger engines. But to give you the idea of an experience at 365 on a very hot, humid day. So if those of you have one of these vehicles, a Grand Cherokee with a V6, and are looking for a little bit more power to tow or have a little bit more fun, coupled with the gearing, that's actually very important. If we take a side note on these vehicles have 343 gearing, whereas the 5.7 liters have 309 or 306 gearing, which is not as favorable to coming out of the hole and racing some friends with it. And the 392 vehicles, the SRT, actually have 373 gearing. So believe it or not, this vehicle with 365 horsepower at the wheels and 300 pounds of torque will give you a very similar situation in terms of acceleration and feel to the much bigger engine, the brother, the SRT. So those of you looking for a supercharger solution and a little bit more power, we have something for you. We've demonstrated it for you on the dyno, and we hope we've given you the information you're looking for. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments. We'll love to do that. Please subscribe, because that really does help us see that these videos matter. And then naturally you can catch us at www.ripmods.com and all the Instagrams and all the Facebooks and all the Twitters. So thanks for stopping by.